But yeah, this is effectively a glorified walking simulator with some light gameplay. Yeah, that's got some spikies on it. Doesn't look like there's much of a reason for me to go in that room. A lot of math. And a computer.
Jesus. Orochi has leverage on everyone.
Okay. Including us. Your request. We have obtained the... Okay. So, yeah, control something else. Which is control? Oh, we don't actually have control as one of these lists. Like, one of the, code names. Anyway, your request. We have obtained the files requested and placed them onto the console for review. The files include detailed avenues of leverage against the Invictus crew. If there is need to put into place additional surveillance measures, we are prepared to do so. We wish your visit a pleasant one. Inna Volkova. So now we get to learn about the characters. I kind of appreciate this. At age 27, Dr. Inna Volkova was directly involved in Averia v. Khrushchev, which gained significance internationally as the incident at Krycha. For several years, she worked at a decommissioned military air base a few miles outside of Krycha, Belarus. Thousands in the small city were killed by an explosion at the base, an explosion meant to cover up a horrific containment breach of an alien substance being used in her research. The high-profile trial uncovered several classified experiments attributed to Volkova, with high-ranking officials within the government denying knowledge of her research. Before a verdict could be delivered, Volkova fled Belarus and claimed asylum at the Russian Federation Embassy in Tokyo. Stationed at the embassy, exiled in extradition, Inna was unable to continue her research. We offered her the opportunity to work without constraints. She accepted under the terms of the strictest NDA and forced return to Belarus upon disclosure. With her ethical integrity questionable, her skills undeniable, recommend vigilant surveillance and determination of trust upon results. Us. Shane Newehart. Minor childhood trauma documented by licensed family psychiatrist. Fear of abandonment. Mild social anxiety. Graduated from Brown. GPA 2.9. I mean, for Brown, that's not half bad. PhD, Miskatonic. Miskatonic, of course. Always Miskatonic. Mechanical Engineering 2052. A peculiar note created a practical equation to explain the theoretical underpinnings of Yang Millis at the mass gap in his sophomore year. The apocryphal claim is that it was made in a single weekend, otherwise unremarkable. Dr. Newehart is key to our understanding of Cynthia Newart's studies and possible whereabouts. Recommend continued surveillance of home and office, potential asset for leverage if Newehart ever reemerges from isolation. Recommend hiring at local Manticore office, engineering position, accept all salary requirements. Push for more information on Cynthia Newehart. Josephine Wilcox. First Lieutenant Josephine Wilcox, Special Forces, Distinguished Service Cross, received 2052. 2055, Court-Martial determination, and dishonorable discharge. Record commuted, evidence expunged. Commander Wilcox resigned her post as of February 22, 2055, retaining her exemplary record and citing personal reasons for her exit. As per our contract, Wilcox began employment at our California-based Manticore facility under the strictest NDA. Record of discharge. Al-Mawit, Yemen, July 15th, 2054. Friendly fire incident reported. 6 undercover agents killed during strategic raid of suspected uranium smuggling operation. Wilcox-led team suffered 0 casualties. Facility neutralized. Alpha Camp, Al-Mawit, Yemen, July 17th, 2054. Citing incident of Commander Wilcox court-martialing proceedings. Multiple witnesses. After brief altercation, Josephine Wilcox discharged a pistol at range of less than 1 meter, causing a perforating wound into the skull of Commanding Officer Major Corey Houston. Wilcox turned and fired a second and third gunshot, which entered the chest and shoulder of Captain Alan Sheffield. Before team members could advance and pull Wilcox away, another 2 shots were fired, critically wounding Captain Jaden Allen in the thigh and groin. Final shots were discharged into the ceiling as officers on site wrestled her firearm away and detained her. Major Houston and Captain Sheffield died immediately. Captain Jaden Allen died in transit to medical facilities. Video evidence of incident is retained at control. Her squad defended her actions, echoing the sentiment that the officers in question knowingly caused a friendly fire scenario through mismanagement. Commander Wilcox will receive no punitive action for these events so long as we exert our influence. Okay. So, Declan Delapour, Master's of Mechanical Engineering, Minor Linguistics, California Institute of Technology, 2054. Offense, trafficking heroin, possession of controlled substance, involuntary manslaughter. Sentence 5 years, 5 months served. Declan Delapour has a history of substance abuse, with having self-admitted to rehabilitation centers twice. His court sentence closely coincides with divorce proceedings, which were finalized in 2048. On November 13th, 2049, Declan Delapour was admitted to a mental health facility for evaluation after an attempted suicide. Orochi Recruitment has confirmed that Delapour has remained clean for over 12 years as of January 1st, 2062, during which time he completed his degree with honors. He has experienced significant difficulties upon graduation due to his incarceration, and Orochi's offer of employment has been contingent on his willingness to maintain secrecy. Delapour is a highly motivated individual, and Orochi has made arrangements to erase records of his dark past. I mean, Declan so far has been one of the more even-keel people, but even then, I wouldn't send this guy into isolation. He sounds unstable reading this.
Oh, Lucas, what the fuck?
Okay, looks like Lucas was a bit of a stalker. Several incidents. Final restraining order. Mary Richardson. Temp. Tia Anders. Final. Abigail White. Offense. Violation of restraining order. Sentence 30 days. Psychiatric evaluation. Dr. Van Buren's psychopathic tendencies were well documented during youth therapy. Lucas displays difficulty reading emotions and lack of empathy for others in social settings. It notes that he was admitted to therapy after his parents discovered him performing a vivisection on a family cat. Dr. Van Buren's contributions to the field of psychology or physiology are vast. His dedication helped trace the evolution of Central American language to its original point. Most recently, he has helped translate Orochi's newly discovered ancient texts and star maps. Orochi has maintained surveillance evidence of Dr. Van Buren's activities during the disappearances of Abigail White and Tia Anders in 2054 and 2055, respectively. The videos show Lucas violently kidnapping and assaulting the women in his home, choking them until they suffocate, and then mutilating the bodies and disposing of all evidence. Jesus Christ. Wow. It's a little bit more than the cat. The chances of a violent altercation are slim, well within acceptable risk, and Dr. Van Buren has seen the recordings. He will accept any incitement given with no questions asked. He is our most leverageable asset. Well, good that he's dead. I felt a bit bad. Now I don't. Yep, that's pretty much all that needs to be said. Jesus, that's pretty bad. Why did they think sending him here would be a good idea?
Putrid filth.
Stand by the fact that that's probably his mother. Which is why she's haunting us but not harming us, just creeping and watching. And hello. What's this stuff? So that's... oh, that's the snake... one of the snake idols. Ish. Or... ish. But yeah, this looks like, the stuff that was cataloged, actually. These are carvings. I don't know what that is, necessarily. Yeah, these are the artifacts. That's a Cthulhu. I don't know what that one is. A lot of stuff around here. Yeah, I stand by Wilcox, Declan, and Sean as kind of acceptable people. You know, the only thing Declan did was heroin. Which, I mean, obviously heroin is bad, but if he's been clean for 12 years, then I think that's kind of okay. Like, I've known people with substance abuse problems that have kicked the habit. I haven't known people that got, like, really hard up on stuff, but I definitely had some friends that were recovering, like, alcoholics and stuff. Or, you know, still active alcoholics. Kind of is a mix. This is the door I came in on, yeah? I think so. Did I check this corner? Right, I did check that corner. And so, like, I don't think the act of substance abuse is justification for condemnation on a person. It's the refusal to quit or their actions, I guess, under the influence. Whoops, I got stabbed. Their actions well under the influence that really is where I would judge a person.
What is that? Ugh. What is that?
It looks like a horrifying mutant baby. Filled with mold tentacles. They probably... Oh, what is that? Oh. That's a little Cthulhu thing. I don't know if it's fleshy or a carving. But yeah, that looks like a human being with the Z pathogen. Anybody have any guesses as to what the Z stands for? Any particular eldritch entity with a Z? Because it's not Nurgle. Oh, 0 point. But even then, she said 0 point was a poor classification of it. What did it say? I thought it said Francis. Damn, this place is huge. Funny would it be if this is a Dead Space branch game. It's not, but honestly, if they made a proper Dead Space out of this, like if their next game was just to make effectively Dead Space but with this setting instead, I'd be okay with it. Somebody needs to take up that torch. Because that is such a...
You're trembling, little one. Let me swaddle you in viscera and wrap you in the nature of my bones.
Stop it! Get out of my head!
You could crack open your helmet like a walnut. Let in the mutant rat, and my voices will still. Not in the spaces we know, but in between.
I mean, I stand by the fact that it's his mother and his mother lost her shit. Okay.
We're all expendable assets to Orochi. Wasn't enough to know all our secrets. If they can't leverage us, they'll just replace us.
The Icarus Project is authorized to enact a contingency plan in case of unforeseen circumstances that may put the Invictus crew at risk. A replica of the individual will be made and preserved until a severe violation has occurred. Severe violations of company policy include the following: unauthorized transmission of operations and information to an outside source, verbal threat or intent to control or sabotage mission objectives, homicide, witnessing a homicide, sustaining a fatal or crippling injury, witnessing the retrieval or release of a cloned subject. Please review proper safety guidelines before retrieval or release of cloned individual. Discretion is of the utmost importance. Failure to follow protocol's guidelines will result in immediate termination. I wonder if they're all clones already, that this isn't the first time. Status update. Primary systems active. Cloning successful. Organic tissue shows no sign of deterioration through advanced aging process. Memory implantation through nocturnal brain scan completed.
Holy shit! That's all of us. The entire Invictus crew. Are we the originals? Or the copies?
Ada Volkova. Newehart Shane. Josephine. They just kind of went with whatever. Honestly, if I were in this situation, I might wake up the clone of myself just for assistance. Honestly, truly, I might just wake up the clone of myself anyway.
It doesn't end.
Split from a single seed. Germinated, scribbled on carbon paper, they multiply like vermin. Sentience is a glitch in the sensory organs. Pain, a cancer fed by reality.
Like, if I knew there was an exact duplicate of me stuck in cryostasis, I might leave it alone, maybe, but if I knew their fate was to just get recycled at some point, I might just... I might just wake it up anyway, just out of sympathy, even if it goes bad. I don't know. Ugh. Anyway, Experiment 279, Project Icarus. We're experimenting with a substance phenomenon entity known as the filth. Oh, so the filth is Z-Path, which means Nurgle. What Dr. Volkova prefers to call Z-Path. Each sample tightly contained and weakened with a particular regimen of radiation for the Icarus protocols. The goal of this experiment is to see if the effects of the pre-natural containment are the same on cloned human tissue and cloned hybrid human tissue as on normal human tissue. If the effects are not the same, how do they differ? Today we applied minute amounts of filth on cloned cells and observed. Effects were largely similar, with the molecules of contaminant attacking the cells. However, the process moved more slowly than observed before. Let's see. The filth has escaped. I have sealed my safety suit and performed all of the emergency protocols. I've injected the radiated serum, as outlined in the procedures. The side effects are intense, but mundane, and far better than the alternative. How did this happen? There was no breach. I think the theory that the filth flows, even undulates along dimensions outside of our perceived 3, may have merit. I've sent for help. I'm trying not to panic. I'm recording the findings this mishap affords. So I think the tentacle beast is Chandra. Probably. The last person that shouldn't be here. Oof. Those drop frames are brutal. I hate them. Anyway, let's see, voices. The voices continued. I ignored them at first, congratulated myself on my rationalism, but then the voices learned to mimic my voice. I thought they were me. I was the voices. No, that doesn't make sense. The radiation must be working. My limbs have begun to do things on their own, but only when I'm not looking. I have to stare at my limbs very carefully or they misbehave. I made a careful regimen of making sure not to look at any one body part for more than 7 seconds. I have to keep watch on them, except for my right arm. Good arm. I'm a scientist. Scientist. Cut off my arm today. Right arm. Good arm. Only uncorrupted part. Pristine. It will be pristine forever. Stored good arm in morgue. Code 9510. I'm a scientist. I will lock myself in a padded room. Everyone is safe. Scientist, 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 blah, 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 blah. So where's the clone of this guy? Who I still think is probably Chandra, but there might be another dude. Might be another person, but yeah, that person went crazy. Well, they got infected by the filth, which is supposed to drive you mad to begin with.
Number sees their meaning.
Or, worse alternative, good arm.
Oh god, that's disgusting.
A tactile tool, tender, untethered.
Seems like a failsafe should almost make it so that anybody that goes in here that is sentient gets communicated with and gets control of the robots. Like, honestly, I would say the very last thing that would happen would be just straight up give the robots to any human being that gets in here. Just to see if you can maybe deal with it. Let me guess, padded cell? Yep. So, the weird horror beast that we've seen running around is whoever was down here, like I thought. Huh. It's an x-ray of a hand. Doesn't really show much of anything. And more goopity goops. More formulas.
There are more of those things?
They called to them, and they answered. Outside time in the dreamscape. Manipulated, contorted their beings until they emerged from chaos anew.
Oh, shit! Come on! Come on! Come on, open! Let's go, let's go, let's go! Come on! Come on! Open, open, open! Come on! Shit! Okay, come on, close! Close, you piece of shit, close! Ah! Yes! Fuck you, you plant piece of shit!
Pretty sure that's not a plant. And yeah, I don't think it was got bit by a filth rat. It was absolutely Z-Path on the human body turns you into that.
Gravity pulls so strangely. It tugs at the tides of the mind. It pulls the planet apart. Do you feel it?
Let's see. I'm glad that Shane isn't a silent protagonist. Yeah, no, I really...
My mind open like a nocturnal flower, aching for the pollinator bat. I felt through nameless eons and inconceivable dimensions to worlds of elder outer eternity. Oh, how rot casts a shadow. A corona surrounds the dark.
Let's see. Like, it worked in Prey for a very specific reason that, you know what, I'll kind of avoid spoiling-ish. But for this game, it'd be unfortunate. You know, the twist is too easily done. I'd be fine with the main character being a clone. And, you know, not at all being the first. And, like, you even find a pile of Shanes at the bottom or something like that. Eight-headed monster.
Unauthorized access. Unauthorized access. Security en route. Please await lethal response.
Locked in. What are they keeping here?
Orochi.
New Eden. Orochi is planning on building a city here. A failsafe.
There is no escape. The dream will consume them. They are inevitable.
Yeah, it looks like there were multiple people down here. Though, I don't know how many of them are clones or not. Project Eclipse. Status. Subject status stasis. Enter activation code for Project Eclipse Phase 2. Warning, all employees should evacuate upon Phase 2 initialization. Emergency unlock protocol will take effect immediately. Sensory deprivation. Shutters closed. Lighting, 100%. Soundscape, 10%. Numbing agent, 0%. Sensory deprivation required to communicate with subject. Communication with the dreamer. Oh, so they know what's down here beyond just other stuff. So communication with the dreamer requires a sensory deprived environment, even for you. Use these settings. 20 lighting, 100% sound, 100% numbing. Use last. and half of it's torn. This game doesn't really require me to write down too much, but whatever's on the other side of the shutter is big. You can see it's got tentacles and chains and stuff. That's interesting. What is this thing?
So the Lord God banished him from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he had been taken. Genesis 3:23.
So, we're gonna have to communicate with the Dreamer for some insane reason, aren't we? Board meeting 5.
Meeting at 5:12? That's oddly specific. The CEO of Orochi was here. It makes no sense.
On Earth. That which cannot be sound.
It's probably a 4-letter word. I should look around for some clues.
Oh, it's Eden.
An emergency failsafe if Project Eclipse is released. If I can lower the shield, I can get out of this room.
Eclipse. Status quarantine. Blast doors active. Magnetic stasis field online. Last update, 7/13. So today, 2063. The fragment has become agitated. The workers are unable to resist its communications. They scratch at the walls, run through the complex, reduced to a wild animalistic frenzy. I was able to close the chamber and enact the highest protocols, but I can hear the echoes ring in my ears. I can see the crew of the Cyrano. I've never seen them before, but I know who they are in all of my being. And they stare through the cracked helmets, the filth reaching out towards me. I can't stay here. Eclipse has been shuttered. I have activated the proper protocols. I doubt there will be enough. Doors automatically unlock in the event the subject of Project Eclipse is released. Project summary.
Spoken, the rush is upon you. You don't get to be the same person after they get in.
Project Symmetry. Symmetry. The numbing agent used in Project Eclipse to keep the fragment under control is created from the strange metal powering the machine in the alien runes. Since the active mechanism for sedation is poorly understood, we've taken the precaution of stockpiling a large amount of the metal on board the Invictus. In the event of an emergency, the Invictus can be launched. A self-guiding rocket has been attached to the payload. It can be triggered with the code phrase once the Invictus safely clears the atmosphere. Communications specialist Delapore was tasked with loading the payload and setting up the detonation trigger. Due to the sensitivity of the operation and his location at the off-site communication dish, he is considered the operative with the most chance of success in case of a catastrophic event. He alone knows the trigger word and will use it at his discretion. Father, the Cyrano has crashed. Something happened. An EMP? We cannot analyze it in time. The filth has reacted violently and unpredictably, spreading like a cancer across the entire base. The Dreamer fragment has sent the workers into a panic, searching for a way to escape. The security system has been triggered. The entire base has been compromised. I've shut down Project Eclipse. An emergency kill signal has been sent to shut down communications via Angelus. We will leave no trace. Semper, Service, Control. So Control was down here the entire time. Okay.